let's take a look how we could recreate an isometric drawing like this with concepts and the grid tools. Okay, so we will create a new document. I will set up my interface. There we are. Very good. And I would like my grid to be isometric. The unit system will be in inches. And now here, the drawing scale, that's actually going to be interesting. So 1 inch to 1 inch. Well, let's say 4 inches. So 1 to 4. Okay. Now my object is 18 inches high and has a 16 by 16 base. We can turn on snap. Snap to grid for the moment is fine. Measurement we want to turn on. Let's go to our drawing tool, and somewhere I just start drawing a vertical line and see. So 18 inches. That's that one. That's yeah, it fits on. But if we now put in 16 inches to the side, you see that is a pretty wide thing. So I bring this down. Okay. Copy there. Very nice. Now, and if we then want to put on the missing part here, 16, there we are out of space. Okay, so the scale is too big. With 2 fingers, I undo. Let's go back. And maybe, what about 1 to 8? Let's try this out. Same thing again. Maybe here I start drawing. Oh, so there's 18. There's like 16 something. Yeah, there we can see this fits in. Maybe a tick too small. One to 6. Yeah. That seems to work really good. Okay. So now we can delete all this. Next thing, let's go back to our grid and edit. Now here we can specify how big do we want the grid to be. The 2 inch, 4 inch. I make this actually on purpose. Let's say 6 inches. So it's nice and big. I'm not really using the grid to really snap to. I'm going to use the grid actually to simply align my lines along. Because when you go to snap options, there we have 2 options. Snap really only to the grid or align to the grid. And this is kind of like really what we want. But I will start with this one first. Then let's switch this to a soft pencil. Very good. And measurement is turned on. Whoa, way too big. Where's actually my... Ah, yeah, you saw the details were missing. With a finger left and right swiping, we can hide and show these parts. Interesting. You saw how I got a pretty thick line. Maybe sometimes the tip reads incorrectly. Yeah, there it is. So, okay, so from there we start drawing down till very gentle. It reads out 18 something. Well, that's pretty close. By the way, when you draw somewhere just a line, we can select it. I will also bring my layer over to there. Thank you. And then for a finger, you see there's the scale readout. If a finger I tap and hold, now I can type in 18. Now this line is truly 18. This I can delete, select this one, and snap it to the grid wherever I want. There you can see actually how the grid and my lines don't necessarily meet up. But this, I have a nice vertical line. So now I can switch to align to grid. And the detail or the difference is now, as you can see, I can draw following the grid, but not being aligned by the grid, but not strictly only following the grid. Okay, so obviously this is more superior. Nice. So then we draw this one out. This should be 16. Okay, finger on it. On the line and the number, I mean 16. There we are. Yeah, good. And then it's copy and paste and snap. Flip it, snap. Well, obviously we should snap correctly. There. There. Now we actually can see we're out of the page. Not a big deal. Select everything. Oh, we just move it down. Cool. Okay. You see, pretty easy. Now I could go at, I would like to have 1/2 inch material thickness. So how can we do this really easy? That's actually pretty simple. So I will create myself very quickly a vertical and a horizontal line. So, because you guessed it correctly, 0.5, we scale these lines down. No, actually I have kind of like sheet lines, if you want to call it this way. And again, this is not a technical drawing. This is meant like a sketch, but we tried to make the sketch look a little bit more accurate. So this one here, copy, I move down. Suck. And this one there. See, there it is actually too wide. So little tip, the slice, turn snap off, zoom in, and over it we delete. And then this leftover we remove. Make a copy, bring this over, and ideally now this should be the same, but I find very often don't trust your eye, trust your construction drawing. Trust is good, control is better. Okay. Then we have a line here in the bottom area. Can bring this down. I just already lined this up on the left side. Here, bring my little tiny helper down. That's pretty good. And then zoom in, cut, and remove this one. Here you see, that works out fairly fast. These extra lines here now we can remove. We have 5 like a 5 inch distance here. So there's my 5 inch line. Thank you. You go down to there. And then here you go down to there. And this is actually super fast. Some cleanup. Whoops. Now be careful. And these helpers at one point we can retire. They're not needed anymore. Here now, this line I would like to line up there. Oh, this is actually good. Here you go to there. Very good. Whoops. It happened there. Yeah. Okay. You go down to that corner. And then zoop. It's kind of like AutoCAD to a certain degree. And now we can do the opening there. Okay, so I will do this the following way. I will turn off all the snapping elements, and you see how I'm creating myself here a midpoint. Then the guideline I would like to rotate, snap. Yeah, so now this is rotated. Thank you. This is actually the midpoint. Okay. Then bye-bye, bye-bye. Here you make a copy. Scale stretch is good. Rotate off. Zip. One half of the side. Other half of the side. You over to there. You over to there. Hey, you go to sleep. You're done. You served your purpose. And then, zack. You see, because it's along the guideline, I didn't really need to snap to the endpoints. It just drew it correctly. This here then goes back. Very nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's say we would like to increase the height of the drawer opening. So maybe we move this one straight down. You see also these guidelines, horizontal, they're really useful. So there, then all this, for example, I quickly delete. Sometimes it's simply faster to redraw. There. Now that's actually a really thick material. So it's probably more like this. So, and then to create, let's say, a front view, we centered everything on the page. I will select everything, move this over, maybe line this up with the grid, plus, minus, there we are, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, and this uses the isometric grid for front view. We don't have kind of like this fake perspective. It's just vertical horizontal grid. But pretty much here then it follows the same idea. Do we do a snap to grid? So I really snap to the lines, or more a snap to aligning to the grid? So with everything will be built, we kind of like even can take elements from it. So this is a vertical part. Very good. So we can select it, make a copy, turn scale is all off, just rotate it. You see, pretty cool. Then turn on measurement, select the thing. Here we say 16. Thank you. Chalk. And zack. Copy. So obviously then this works really nice and fast, but there's one tiny problem with the copy and paste of the same thing. The lines always will look the same. And here, let me zoom in a little bit more. In an orthographic view, so front view, if I now make a copy and then I have the measurement turned on and I drag it, you see I get also a distance readout. So this is a little bit half of an inch. Okay, very nice. maybe here I will do the same. I could even finger on this distance and say, move this line 1/2 inch. Thank you. Okay. Then let's select this one. Whoops. .5. Very good. And here, this is actually maybe an area where, for example, since we work in front and side, so we don't really have like a perspective thing, and we have clean like 16, 18 inches and 1/2 inch for the material thickness. Maybe set the unit to 1/2 inch. Now we can actually, in theory, simply use the grid tool to very quickly line things up. More or less. There. Actually, this goes down. There, thank you. Then here, maybe rotate off, stretch, we turn on. So we stretch it with 2 fingers. You see I'm moving this around till it has the correct width. There we are. Up here, however, this needs to be trimmed. But again, you see it can be tricky based on what you or where you are doing the cut. So be careful that you do not by accident remove something you do not want to remove. We said one thing was 5 actually, so we make a copy, bring this up to there. So this is 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inch, 2.5, 3 inch, 3.5, 4 inch, and there we are. Yeah, cool. We moved this one actually down a little bit. What's the distance? 1.8. Yeah, okay. This one maybe 5.5. Good. And here we set, what was that? 2.8. Let's say 2 inches. To find here the midpoint, same trick. So it's actually this one here. And then we will draw a line. And then I select the line. Let's make this 6, so it's easier. Center it, grid-wise, left and right. This looks good. So 1, 1.5, 1.5 inch. Okay. I think the other one was 2 inches. Grid snapping back on, so I can draw also here up. But that snapping I don't like. I want this snapping. Thank you. There. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So now we even made a matching view from the front. And you see if you now want to create furniture drawings or sketches, why I very often say front views or side views are very useful. Isometric sketches are not necessarily perspectively correct, but they're easy to do for beginners. So they're definitely very useful because we don't have to deal with perspective foreshortening, but we can actually create kind of like an illusion of depth, and the drawings don't look that bad. And that's it. Awesome.